Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth. This is Frizzy Stitches. Today is November the 13th, 2022, and this is Flosstube number 32. Alright, so it's been 2 weeks since my last video. I've done lots of stitching. I have 4 projects to show you today, but I also have like a bunch of life update stuff to share with you that are all kind of exciting and fun. So yeah, so first off, I wanted to thank everybody for all the costume love on my Russell costume in my last video. It's nice to know that my efforts were appreciated. And yeah, and also thank you to everybody who checked out my bullet journal setup video. It's always rewarding to see non-stitchy content get acknowledged and viewed on my channel, so I appreciate that as well. And so as far as non-internet stuff goes, I actually have some really exciting news. So as most of you who have been following me might have known, I moved here to Ohio at the end of May, and I have been on the job hunt since then, and I'm happy to announce that I finally have secured a job. And so I'm super excited. Funny enough, my last video that I filmed and uploaded it on Halloween, but that was also the day that I had my interview. And so I had like done the interview, came home, started filming, and then as I was editing my video, I actually got a phone call with a job offer. So Halloween was a fantastic holiday for me this year. But yeah, I actually start tomorrow. Today is Sunday. So yeah, I'm excited for all the new challenges that I'm about to encounter and finally be able to, I don't know, contribute financially to the household. So anyway, so that's big news number one. And then another exciting thing is we actually got our engagement photos back from the photographer, I guess, I don't know, a few days ago. So yeah, I'm gonna put a few in here just to kind of show off because I'm so excited with how they look. They're super cute, and it's gonna be really tough to decide which one to put on the front of our save the dates. So yeah, I've already like tried to share the album with family members so that they can give us some feedback on what they think is kind of the best photo, if you will. But yeah, and another thing, I guess for me that's exciting, is we actually got our first snow here in Ohio yesterday, and I'm from Mississippi and have never experienced snow in the fall. So that was a big thing yesterday. And then we still have the pumpkin that I had bought for Halloween. I never actually carved it, so it's still sitting outside, and we had taken Wilson out to go for a walk, and there was snow on the pumpkin. I'm like, this is something I didn't think I was gonna see. So yeah, anyway, this is the furthest north that I've ever lived, and it's gonna, I already feel like this is cold. I just know it's gonna get colder, so I gotta bundle up. But yeah, anyway, so that's about it for non-stitchy stuff for now. I figure we can go ahead and see what I've been working on. So funny story, I actually made Bobby like go run errands and stuff so that I could film and he wouldn't like watch me because I'm just not ready for that. And anyway, so none of my projects are ironed, but it's honestly fine. So the first project that I have to show, I actually worked on this for like 5.5 hours. It is StitchCon by Hillis. It's going to look like this. This was the StitchCon 2022 exclusive chart, and my goal this month was to stitch on it for 5 hours, so I checked that off. This is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. And this is what it looks like now. So I managed to get in all the backstitch around the word StitchCon, and then I did friends, new and old, sharing a common thread. I did the little heart, I did my initials in the scroll, I did 310, the cat, and keepsake Cincinnati. So I didn't do the little knobs on the end of the scroll, and there's like a bunch of fill-in in the inside that I haven't done yet, but I would say this fairly good progress. So yeah. And I'm stitching this on a 40 count linen from Picture This Plus. It's called Vellum, and I'm stitching with one thread, one strand of floss over 2 linen threads, and then all the back stitch is it kind of depends on whether or not you use 1 strand or 2 strands. So it's kind of interesting. So like all the new and old, a common thread, and Keepsake Cincinnati are all 2 strand back stitch. The needle is 2 strands, but then the thread is 1 strand. So I'm kind of just doing it as I go because there is kind of a lot of random back stitch in this chart. But one thing, if you went to StitchCon and you also got this chart and you're trying to stitch it, I think I found a typo. So there's like, let's see, there's 2 colors in here that, like on her, I'm gonna see if I can show you this to you without showing the chart. But like right there, where it has the symbols, it also has a description for what color the DMC thread is. So there are 2 DMC threads that both have the description of very dark blue green. And so like in her instructions on the back where she says what color to use for certain backstitch, she says to use very dark blue green. Well, the first time she said that wore these X's at the top. And then the second time she says it is for the words. Well, I guess since that was 2 different instances of me stitching this, I looked at 2 different floss colors that had the same description. So technically the X's at the top, I think it's the dark, I think very dark blue green is supposed to be the darker color, but basically it's like, what is it? Yeah, it's a difference between 501 and 502, 500 and 501. So like those are pretty different from each other. But I'm not gonna change what I've done so far because I don't think it looks bad, and I'm just gonna stay consistent. But just I guess to be aware, if you are stitching this chart, that very dark blue green is used as a description for 2 different floss colors that really don't look the same. So anyway, the next project that I have to show is also a goal that I had successfully completed, and it's for Sweetest Pie by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is what it's going to look like, and this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. My goal was to basically catch up with my intention for the year of stitching 1 pie a month. I was 3 pies behind, so I stitched 3 pies. So this is what mine looks like now. Let me move my needle minder down. Okay. So this is what mine is looking like. Oh, that kind of covers up. Anyway. Okay, there we go. So the 3 pies on the very bottom are what I worked on. And then I also did this border right here where my pinky is, down to where that heart is, and then some of the pink underneath the pies. So all of that is new additions. We have pumpkin pie, apple pie, and like an Oreo cream thing. Oreo cream pie, I don't know. But yeah, this chart is so cute and I love this so much. I'm stitching this on 28 count linen from Picture This Plus called Sand, I think. It's the called for this chart. And then I am stitching with all the called for floss, which is a combination of mostly DMC, but there are like 5 Weeks Dye Works colors. So yeah, but these are the 3 little new pies that we have this time. I absolutely love this little Oreo cream pie. I think that little chocolate drizzle on the top looks so good. And then another thing that I think is so cool about this chart is like how detailed Frosted Pumpkin is able to get with like such a small space. So like, and like using the same colors but having different things. Like, so like on this pumpkin pie, obviously that's like a dollop of whipped cream, but then using the same colors in the same amount of space on this apple pie, we have a scoop of ice cream. So I just think that's so cool, like what kind of detail they're able to get in such a small space with using a few colors. So, and like even on the lemon meringue up here, like that actually looks like they like flambéed it on the top or whatever you call it. So yeah, I just love the little detail in this. I think it's so cute. So this one won't be coming back out until next month, and I'm gonna go back to my one pie a month thing, and the pie I'm going to do for December is the candy cane pie, which is something that doesn't really sound appetizing, but the pie is really cute because it's pink and red and white. So I think the I think the peppermint candy cane pie is like down here. So that's my intention for next month. But I love how cute this is. And stitching those 3 pies ended up being about 10.5 hours worth of work. So next on the list is Stitch into Christmas by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This is a stitch along that I feel like is probably gonna wrap up soon. I think there might be only 1 part left, but it is gonna look like this. And then this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. And I have spent just about 4.5 hours on this. But I've gotten a decent amount of progress done. This one, the fabric, I can't get too close, otherwise the screen goes yellow. But yeah, so this is what I've got so far. The new additions are the mistletoe, the snowman, and the stack of presents. I am stitching this on 28 count even weave 1/1. This is the fabric that came in the kit that Caterpillar Cross Stitch provided to me. And yeah. So I love how it looks so cute and tiny. I wasn't sure, like I knew I wanted to try this obviously, but I didn't know how it was gonna go or if I was gonna like it, but I really do. Looking at it in the camera now, it just looks so funny because it's so small. But this is a decent amount of the chart because I think each part that has come out has been about 5 of these motifs. So this is not part 1, but it is about equivalent to what part 1 was. So, but yeah. And I don't really know what else to say about this, I guess. If you've never stitched 1/1, it definitely is a little bit of a learning curve because you have to kind of change the way you do your stitches so that your stitches don't fall underneath the weave of the fabric. So that's been a learning experience, but I think I've adapted pretty quickly and I'm pretty happy with how tiny and cute it looks. So I'm gonna see how close we can get it before it turns yellow. Oh, yep, see? It's starting to get yellow. Anyway, that's about as close as I can get it. And so Caterpillar Cross Stitch when you buy a kit, they come on these floss cards, and I have disassembled mine, but they usually come like wrapped around like a bobbin. And I actually will just go in there and cut it to a standard length so that I can just pull it. And then to keep things organized, I braid it so that very loosely, so that it's easy to pull the floss out. But anyway, this just looks kind of satisfying with all the colors braided together. But the colors in this are so cute because they're very Christmassy, but also like there's a bunch of colors in there that aren't really Christmassy. So I think it adds that cute factor that we all know and love from Caterpillar. Okay, and the last project I have to show you is, I didn't really get too much work in this one. I stitched on it for 3.5 hours, and which I think when I was looking up all the time that I've spent so far, I think I stitched about 24 hours in the past 2 weeks, if you're curious. I thought that was kind of funny because it's like a whole day of non-stop stitching was equivalent to like 2 weeks of like stitching over small pieces of time. But anyway, okay, Possum song. This is what it's gonna look like, and this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. I got a lot of progress in this last month because I had stitched on it for like 10 hours, but this month I decided to make my goal to stitch on it for 5 hours. And like I said, I only worked on it for like 3.5, so I still have like another 1.5 hours of stitching to go. But let me see if I can get it behind. Here we go. So this is what it looks like. I basically added like from this butterfly around all those motifs, and I also added the straw that he has in his mouth. And yeah, this is just so cute. It is a ton of stitching though. It doesn't look like it because like when you have the chart, because she puts it in like it's like a mock-up inside a hoop, but like obviously this would be a really big hoop. So but yeah, I also, while I was like realizing how much stitching this was, I kind of my curiosity was piqued, and I was like trying to figure out like really kind of the ratio of small, medium, large, big projects that I have, and like how many of my projects are of what size. So this is considered, I think I made this considered a large project because the stitch count is like somewhere around 150 by 150 stitches. But most of my projects are either large or extra large, and what I consider large is 150 by 150 or less, and then medium would be 100 and 100, about 100 by 100 or less. Small would be 60 by 60 or less, and then extra large would be 200 by 200 or less, and then jumbo would be like my full coverage Sweetheart Campfire. So anyway, basically like Halloween Quaker and Haunted Library, those are in the extra large category. And then Possum Song, Sweetest Pie, what else did I show you? Stitch into Christmas, those would be large. And then I considered StitchCon to be like a medium. So like most of my stuff is large or extra large, which is like, now I'm kind of like, anytime I start a new project, I'm trying to keep that in mind because obviously the bigger it is, the more time it's going to take. So, yeah, anyway, I just thought that was interesting. But this is what Possum Song looks like. This that I started over here is like a leaf with like a branch that has more leaves on it, so. Yeah. So that is all my stitching that I worked on the past couple weeks. I'm curious to know how my stitching time is going to change now that I'm going to have a full-time job. But, you know, obviously I had a full-time job before and I managed to get a lot of stitching done. But I guess my home life is different now because then, like, I still lived by myself and, like, Bobby and I only saw each other on the weekends. But now we see each other all the time because we live together. So, and then we also have Wilson, who requires a lot more attention than Piper, simply because he has a lot of energy that he needs to like go on a walk and stuff. So anyway, it's going to be interesting adapting to my new life, but I imagine that like, I feel like ideally I would have about an hour and a half to stitch each day, and then I'm probably going to end up doing the bulk of my stitching on the weekend. But we'll see how it goes. I do plan on keeping my Flosstube schedule consistent, like I've kind of gotten back to. So that would be every 2 weeks, and then probably if I don't feel stressed out, then I'll probably continue to post bullet journal videos, and that's all I know for now. So I appreciate all of you who have subscribed in the past 6 months or have been subscribed to me since the beginning. It's been a really rewarding experience, and I have like this entire time of me like being at home and having a lot more time to myself has made me like become very grateful for lots of things that I have going for me. And so, and right now I just feel even more grateful that I have a job and that I've been able to wait this long to get that job. And yeah, so my heart is very big, and what a good time of year, right? Because Thanksgiving's just around the corner. So anyway, thank you for your support. And I think that's it for stitching and kind of, I guess, Flosstube update stuff. I actually did want to insert a cute little video that Bobby took of Piper and Wilson. It's a very good depiction of how they interact with each other. So I'm just gonna put that in right here. Oh my goodness, they're so funny. That is like probably like, I don't know, half the time they play with each other, that's what it's like. The other half, he'll just chase her and then she'll go hide under the bed and then she'll come out and smack him. So anyway, they're really cute and I'm very happy with how they're getting along with each other. So all right, so that is it. I'm going to actually move on to talking about books. So if you're not interested in books, then I will leave you here. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you again in 2 weeks for more stitchy things. So I'm gonna grab my books really quick. So another thing that I'm also curious to know how is gonna change is my reading habits, because I have been quite the avid reader the last half of the year, and obviously I want to keep that up. So I imagine I will be listening to a lot more audiobooks, but I definitely have been reading more tangible books since I have had so much free time. But anyway, so let's see, we're gonna go with what I just finished reading, what I'm reading now, and what I'm going to read next. So what I just finished was the ever popular A Court of Thorns and Roses. When I was watching my last video, I actually said this wrong. I said A Court of Thorn and Roses, but it's Thorns and Roses. Anyway, I really enjoyed this book a lot. I did rate it 5 stars simply because I'm not like addicted or obsessed with it, but I have a feeling that might change if I read the rest of the series, which I do plan on doing. So anyway, this definitely is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I don't think it says that on the back, but it has been said somewhere on the internet, and it really is true. There are like when I was reading it, I was like, oh, that's like in this part, and that's like this, and anyway. But what's also interesting is the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury, is kind of deemed as a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I can already see how that's going to take shape based on what happened in this book. So anyway, the main character, Feyre, is like, at first I didn't know if I was really going to like her, but I've kind of discovered later on that I really wasn't annoyed with her. I was really more annoyed with the situations that she kept finding herself in, because honestly, she kind of reminded me of Katniss from not Catching Fire, that's the second book, Hunger Games. Anyway, yeah, she kind of reminded me of Katniss. She is the youngest sibling of her other 2 sisters, which I find interesting for how like independent and kind of not motherly, but she definitely supports the household in the beginning, when she's with her family. So anyway, this book definitely had a few twists in it that I wasn't expecting, and there was a riddle toward the end that I guessed the answer to, but then I forgot all about it because of other things that happened, and then she like finally understood what the answer to the riddle was, and I was like, I knew it! You could have said that earlier! But anyway, this is a fantastic book. I definitely will plan to read the second book, and probably the whole series at that point. So anyway, this was really good. And not as spicy. This book wasn't as spicy as I thought it was going to be. But I think I've heard that the rest of the series is spicy. So if you're not into that, maybe read some content warnings or something. Okay, so the book that I'm currently reading is actually nonfiction, which is not common for me, but it is The Bullet Journal Method by Ryder Carroll himself. This book is absolutely fantastic. As someone who has been bullet journaling for a really long time, it's been really refreshing to read this book because Ryder Carroll is the inventor of, or the creator of the bullet journal, and so like this is like raw Bujo Bible, if you will. Walks you through how to start bullet journaling, really focuses on why you do stuff in your life, and that every task you take on, you're saying no to something else, and so you really should kind of be introspective and like reflective on kind of what you're putting on your plate and if it's really worth your time and efforts. So anyway, it's a really great book. I'm about halfway through. I've been reading this while eating breakfast and eating lunch, so I probably will continue that. It'll probably take me a while to finish it, but I'm not that beat up about how fast I read this, because since it is nonfiction, I am like actually trying to learn something and not just you know, read about fairies and wizards. So anyway, this is a great book. If you are interested in bullet journaling, or you already do bullet journal, or maybe you're just really into planning and you haven't done this at all, I would highly recommend picking up this book from your library and at least skimming through it to see if it's something that you would like to read. But it is very good, and I really like this. So the next book is what I plan to read next, which probably hoping to maybe start reading this afternoon, but it is called The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. This is a very popular book. I've seen this around for what feels like forever. I don't know when this actually... Oh, it says copyright 2020. I thought it was older than that. But let's see. It's classified as fantasy fiction, which I didn't actually really know, which makes sense. So basically, it's about this caseworker who works at the department in charge of magical youth, and he gets summoned by extremely upper management and is given a curious and highly classified assignment. And so he's going to this orphanage where there's a bunch of magical children that are considered to be dangerous, and so it's kind of like a found family situation, I guess. But anyway, I've heard lots of good things about this book, and I'm kind of just ready to see what it's all about. So yeah, this will be, hopefully I can start this this afternoon or something, but yeah. And that is about it. That is it. It's not about it. It is it. I don't have anything else to talk about. Like I said, thank you for joining me, and yeah, that's, I guess, do you have Thanksgiving plans? Are you traveling to your family? Is your family coming to you? Are you doing Friendsgiving? Tell me what you're doing for Thanksgiving in the comments. I understand not everybody who might watch celebrates Thanksgiving or lives in the US. So if you're not doing Thanksgiving, just tell me what your favorite fall activity is. Because fall, I guess, is technically coming to a close. We have like another month of fall. I guess winter doesn't technically start until like a few days before Christmas. But yeah, let me know what you're up to, and I will see you again in 2 weeks. Bye!